Hello, everybody, and welcome to another Spark of Genius Flesh and Blood production. Up here with some classic constructed replay analysis. So here we have the Battle Hardens and Leeds. So as of recording, this has ended already. This was 1 day old, I think. So it's pretty fresh here. Very interesting top eight in this event. I don't want to spoil the winner or anything, but the top eight was all ice heroes. 5 Oldhims, 3 Icelanders. So a lot of mirrors running around. This is not one of those mirrors, but a lot of mirrors running around. So the idea with some of the replays we're doing in the next little while is we're going to try to either do a replay cast analysis based on the battle hardened events. So the biggest events that are uncasted, essentially, right? So the battle hardened jersey was casted by Mansant and Ethnic Smoke. It was actually pretty reasonable. It was a pretty nice cast, honestly. I did watch a piece of it. I don't really want to like recast it for people watching. They don't really want to see that, yeah, because they had some commentary there. But Battle Hardened Leeds was not casted at all, so this is like the biggest uncasted events. In the future, might be like ProQuest, that kind of things, the ones that are streamed. But we got some nice ones coming out of here. So I'm joined by my Rob, just Rob, I guess. For the moment, for the next hour or so, I guess. So my co-creator, co-caster, co-compatriot, co-commentator, and I ended up with co-commentator because that's what we're going to be doing today.
It's the most important one right now.
I thought about it this time. So we have the top eight. And this is going to be Matthew Folks, the PT2 Leo winner. He won on Briar, but he's bringing Iyslander to the field here against, I believe, Liam Holden. And it's going to be first versus 8th seed. So Matthew Folks was 8-0 going into top 8 cut, so he came in as first seed. And Liam Holden was X2, so he was the second highest X2. 7th was the highest X2. Everybody else was X1. I believe this event had 100, 120, 130 people, so somewhere around those. It was 8 Swiss cut to top 8. So pretty large event. A lot of big names in the European scene came to this. It was fairly nice. Top 8 mats, all the good stuff here. So this is going to be Iyslander versus Oldhim. I know this is probably a matchup people have seen before, but as the meta evolves, the decks are getting a little bit more teched for certain matchups. As you can see on the Oldhim side, we have a very nice arcane lantern. Of course, not something we saw a ton of beforehand, but definitely decks are trying to evolve for their local meta and for like any regional meta they're kind of expecting. And I don't know, with that, I guess we're starting off the game.
Before we start, I will mention, since it's a little cropped here on the video, I'll talk about the equipment loadout for Liam's side. He does have Crown of Seeds, Tunic, and the Nullrune boots. So Nullrune 3 being run on the Oldhim side.
Yeah, Arcane 3, pretty standard stuff, other than the Lantern. And of course, we have the Iyslander side. So Matthew's running the Tunic, the gloves, the Iron Hide gloves. It's not the rot
not
here.
Just the gloves, They're
not just the gloves.
2.0.
The gloves 2.0 and Striders, and then Crown of Providence, which is being brought in specifically for Oldhim. So fairly heavy on the Oldhim tech on this side too. Providence is really not particularly used in other matchups. I guess it could be used for Bravo. It's just very good for CNC pummel and stuff like that. It's mainly for that kind of threat, so you're able to cycle. Otherwise, pitching for Coronet Peak against an aggro deck is fine because it just taxing.
Strip the hand,
Yeah, and they have same armor value, so it's really just about utility here. So nice Crown of Providence. I believe Matthew Folks decided to go first, as is his right as the first seed. He will go first every game as long as he can stay in top 8, which is very nice for Iyslander, who very much likes to go first.
All right. Without further ado, start the game. Okay. There we go.
So as we can see,
starting off with Tunic right away.
Before the handshake, he's not even gonna try to pretend he's gonna forget that Tunic.
Yeah.
So this matchup is definitely one that I've played a whole lot more from the Oldhim side recently, but I have played this from the Iyslander side as well, just to be able to understand both sides of the matchup. And when you're playing against ice heroes, especially these ones who are just able to give you frostbites fairly easy compared to Lexi, who's the other ice hero, which does have to like activate an ability, like a hero ability, to flip an ice card to give a frostbite. Iyslander just essentially can just pop an ice on your turn, and that gives you a frostbite. And Oldhim can obviously hit with the Winter's Wail with an ice card pitched, so it's easier for these heroes to get frostbite. So how these players are able to play around that extra tax because
Mm-hmm.
Iyslander very much likes to give frostbites. Not a big fan of receiving them, is what I found
Yeah,
out.
that's true. Yeah,
So
the
we're gonna
resources are
see
nicely tuned, I think, in the Iyslander deck. You have the pitch
they are,
3 for
yes.
your wounded bull, for your Finals fighting
Mhm.
spirit. Like a single frostbite really ruins your turn.
It does. Scar into like pitch 3 for Wounded Bull, of course,
Yep.
getting a Frostbite really odd. We do see Insidious Chill, very good turn 1.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's well, turn 0, I guess. But very good kind of starting hand here for
Yeah.
Matthew Folks getting Insidious Chill. You do want to um,
Mm-hmm.
try to avoid getting Spinal Crush, but we do see
Yeah.
pretty reasonable hand coming out of Oldhim. This generally there are a
Mm-hmm.
couple of different Oldhim builds running around. There's like a more aggressive style, like more mid-rangey, where you're gonna block, but you have very good aggressive tools. And then just like the fatigue style, you're running like a lot of D-reacts, heart, whole bunch of other stuff
Yeah.
to try to
I've been seeing a
get
lot
this
more of
cycle.
the aggressive Oldhim lists personally
Mm-hmm.
in my own
Yeah.
meta. I
Yep.
think it's more popular on average these days.
Yep. Yeah. So my main issue with bringing the fatigue Oldhim to like a pro quest level is I feel like you're just way more likely to draw your games just because
Right.
that deck really does need to get to second and third cycle to really make that kind of impact because the whole strategy is revolved around that. Now,
Yeah.
I don't personally like playing that at a local level or a PQ level, just because there are going to be players who just don't play fast enough, and
Yeah.
draws do happen. You're gonna see a Dromai and start crying. Like it's very sad to see those
Yeah,
kinds of
it
matchups.
has
So
happened also today in my own pro quest. There was
it
an
does happen.
Oldhim match that went to time.
Mm-hmm.
I think they might have
It
closed it
happens.
out, but it was close. Yeah.
Yeah, it does happen. So we do see Matthew Folks here coming in with the Scar for a Scar, which came out of the arsenal here. Very
Mm-hmm.
good. Bryce Lander, of course, was a reinvented card from Michael Hamilton in his Bullander. I think people are calling it Bullander now, right? I guess
Yep.
it's like consensus.
That's what I
Okay.
heard. Yeah.
See, I prefer the Hamiltonian Iyslander, but I
Yeah.
guess Bullander is fine. It's more regal,
Whatever floats
in
your
my
boat.
opinion.
Yeah, it's like almost like it's a Newtonian fluid. It's a
It's a
Hamiltonian.
Newtonian, yeah, exactly. So we do see a block for 3, and it looks like a hypothermia pitch to ice react. So very heads up play coming out of Liam, trying to get him off the blue or the wounded bull, one or the other,
Yeah.
right? So you're essentially pitching 3 to prevent possibly 8,
Yeah.
right, or 7 on finals.
Yeah. We saw that the Spinal Crush there was pretty good because Matthew did have the Scar for a Scar, but I think on average Icelander's turns don't really utilize Go Again that well, especially if you're going to be using the Waning Moon. So in this case, it mattered, but I think on the most or for the most part, I wouldn't care as much about the Spinal Crush. I'd block it just to prevent damage because you have a less
Mhm.
lower life total. Your armor doesn't block that well, so you might as well save the health total. But yeah, on average, it's like not that painful to take that crush effect.
Yeah, I mean, Iyslander is a bit on the more frail side. She has some armor, but she starts at less health. She does want to be like trading as efficiently as possible here. So Oldhim coming out with an energy potion, which I would say is a bit of a
That's
new tech,
special tech,
bit
right?
of a new tech, bit of a I yeah. It's mainly for like those Iyslander matches where you're gonna need the Epot to either counter an Insidious Chill trigger,
Mm-hmm.
Ice Vein trigger,
Yeah.
a Frostbite, or what have you. So it is really,
Mm-hmm.
I believe we have seen it in other matches, in other events. So this isn't the first time I'm seeing an energy potion on the Oldhim side, but I think it is circling around to players that Epot is a resource that you can have on your side of the field.
Mm-hmm.
And we just see Matthew Folks responding with his own energy potion. So we've got an energy potion duel going on here.
Yep. Just
Now,
both players setting up.
yep, I think it was literally just Epot pass.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
didn't see
it was
anything
just
else.
Epot pass from Oldhim. Yeah, just Epot pass from Oldhim.
Yeah.
Matthew Folks not gonna bother Waning Moon because Liam does have AB3, so you'd just be pitching. You'd be trading blues at that point, which
Yeah.
it's like it doesn't really accomplish anything. You can keep if you can keep that in your hand and do
Yeah.
more with it.
Well, there's the wounded
We do
bull.
see the bull in Bullander coming out here for 8. He's
Yep.
lower health,
The namesake of the deck here.
the namesake in the deck, and this really is one of those cards with Fighting Spirit that'll just allows you to trade more efficiently than
Exactly.
pretty much every other deck in the game right now. Because Guardians used to be the kind of pinnacle of efficiency. You're able to convert 6 pitch into 10 damage with Thunderquake, with Glacial Footsteps,
Mm-hmm.
things like that, right? Like that was the rate. And Guardians were just able to put more resources into one attack and go tall, just by pure pitch. No attack reactions, no non-attack reactions, just pure pitch, right? But
Yep.
The 3 for 8 is just better than 6 for 10. Just math. It's just
Yeah.
a better, more efficient ratio here. So you're able to block and keep 2 cards rather than needing 3 cards, right? So you're saving on health and you're doing marginally less damage here. So it is quite nice.
Mm-hmm.
We do see Liam coming back with a Frosty Whale.
Yep.
Pretty standard. It's going to be probably a lot of turns just Frosty Whale. Important to probably keep back some resources in case, especially when Iyslander does have an arsenal, because she generally will be coming back with some kind of arcane damage on your turn.
Yep. Seeing a beautiful cover with a sink below.
Yeah, he's just tapping it a couple times, just making sure it's. It's just, I like how he's tapping the frost, but like you can see, he's just moving it around. He's just making sure.
Yeah.
He's just trying to move it around the map.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this matchup is it's definitely evolved since Michael Hamilton brought upon the scourge of the earth in his Bullander here.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that I think this matchup was actually decently Oldhim favored before into the regular Iyslander like builds that essentially were combo control.
Mm-hmm.
So you're setting up frost hexes, all your items.
Yeah.
And I think Oldhim was able to pivot first because people were just running way more aggressive tools. 6 for 10, zealous belting, strike. So you were presenting 9 to 12 damage easily, like relatively easily turn after turn. Rouse the Ancients. Not a whole lot of combo control could have at some point you're just taking a lot of damage to set up all these items, which you still needed a lot, especially frost hexes, right? And then it can all go awry if they CNC pummel you, and you're just like, it's just you're just a goner here. So that's kind of like what it was into the older spell based lists, unless they were running like a whole shit ton of unless they're super teched, but then they're losing into other matchups, right? So we do see another Sidious Chill coming out of Matthew Folks. So he's setting up his kind of discard effects, discard or pay 2 effects, which is quite important with the Ice Veins come out, especially to try to get rid of Oldham's hands here. We did see a Tunic for Crown of Seeds, because he does have 5 cards there, and I'm assuming the Tunic counter is gone, right? So Tunic, Crown of Seeds, 2 floating. So Liam did not reveal an ice card, so this is not infused.
Yep.
Possibly a pummel, could be something else.
Yeah, I believe the first effect is still active for Endless Winter. For every defending card, I think. Or it's the on hit that applies. Sorry, not the.
You can see even from here, you see how those like the bajillion line of text under Endless Winter.
Yeah, that's Frosting. A long card.
Frosting is just like deal 1 arcane. You see 1 line, and Endless Winter just hold money.
Oh, okay. Endless Winter pummel. I believe that's a red pummel from the looks of it.
12.
I think it's coming for 12
total.
Yeah.
12 total on his 3 block. So if nothing else happens, looks
9,
like
that's less or more than a quarter of Matthew's health.
Yeah, quick math. Quick math,
yeah.
Indeed. Yeah, that's more than a quarter.
The cogs a little bit.
36. Correctamundo. So I mean, Matthew Folks could have a D-React here. He does run sync belows, as we've seen. I don't think this list is on immovables. It'd be a little bit odd to include both unmovables and wounded. Like, I don't think you have enough space to do everything at once, right? So I would assume it's only running sinks here, meaning it's very possible that 9 will be sneaking through here, which is quite good because then you also get to discard a card. So he's going to go down to 2 cards. Now, again, pitch a blue, Wounded Bull. It's not the end of the world.
Yep. I mean, 2-card hands in Iyslander are pretty fair, especially if she's less health than the Oldhim. She'll be able to get like Finals Fighting Spirit, heal 1, Wounded Bull for 8. Not terrible.
Yep.
Yeah, so
not terrible.
It might be okay. Although I think I might have got a glimpse of the hand a little bit. Looks kind of icy.
It's kind of icy. We don't know what's an arsenal though. It could be a red attack.
Oh, there's a Final. It's a Final. Okay, yeah. So
that's a Final.
Might be okay.
So.
I did not see a D react unless it's an arsenal. Now I believe the on-hit effect of Endless Winter is every time you play or every time you activate an effect or ability, you get a frostbite, I believe.
Yeah, so it's mainly for things like your weapon, because you're activating your weapon to attack. Your any kind of activated abilities, if you're
like your hero,
Striders. Your hero's fine because in this case, Oldhim, I guess, yes, but for Iyslander, it's just a trigger.
Yeah, that's true.
So it wouldn't be
for Iyslander, it won't apply. Yeah,
exactly. So, but for things like a Fi, that would apply if you
Right.
Endless Winter and Phi does activate an ability.
Right.
You're activating your ability to get a Phoenix Flame kind of thing. So it will produce a Frostbite after.
After the fact, yeah.
Um,
So if you only have one thing
yeah,
to play, you don't care about the frostbite that much.
no, not particularly. We did see Finals Fighting Spirit there, so it's pretty likely.
Yeah.
Yeah, Matthew Folks taking the 9 here,
Yeah.
so
Although,
going to discard.
yeah, well, we won't be able to use his full hand probably. I think I see a. Ooh, it's hard to see without the glare. Actually, I won't speculate. I'll wait. I'll wait till we see it. He is discarding here. I believe that was. Oh, he covered it up. Okay, it was an ice card. So I think it was a red ice card.
Yeah, no, we definitely see most likely just a Finals Fighting Spirit getting a health and
There's
presenting
the
the
polar
7
blast.
on
Okay.
board.
Yeah. Okay. So he kept the polar blast, of course. Kept the Finals fighting spirit for 8.
Mhm.
For 7. I'm sorry, and gain 1
For
health.
7.
Yeah.
Yep. Wounding Bull is alluring, but they don't all do 8. That would be
No.
fun.
No. And if you think about it, same kind of difference. Heal 1, deal 1 extra, not bad. The one you heal is unblockable, basically, because you get the 1 health regardless, so it's kind of a little added bonus there.
It's true. I think Iyslander definitely appreciating the 1 health gain a little
Yeah,
bit more than the 1 damage, I imagine. Although
I
some
think
particular
so.
cases you want to get your opponent lower so that
Yeah.
your Strider's combo will kill them. So I think it's kind of 1 or 2. It's half or dozen or the other, right? So I think
We're seeing a double
it's
E-strike.
just.
Got a glimpse at
I
that
mean,
hand. Double E-strike, huh?
double E strike's not bad,
Yeah,
but
like depends. Now he can't
almost
play
like a
both because he's blocking, so one's probably going to go
yeah
to the arsenal. I
yeah. So
believe taking
your
4.
issue. Yeah, that's a Rent Thunderquake there. Your issue is you keep 2 E strikes and then you E strike go again and you get a Frostbite. You'd have to pop your E-Pot to hit the other
Yeah,
E-Strike, right?
yeah.
I don't think that's where you want to be popping your E-Pot.
Not worth
So,
it. Yeah, I think you're okay
yeah.
just going E-strike for 7.
Mm-hmm.
Or probably
Maybe
going to
the
bottom a
E-Strike.
card and pitch for whale. I'm not sure what the last card was. I don't know if it's blue, but this is
Looks like
probably going to
it's
be a go again.
go again.
Yeah. Oh,
Nope. So
he went for 7. Ooh, okay. So the
it's
last card in
generally
hand.
easier because here you'd have to, like, if you get a Frostbite, you'd still have to either Crown
Mm-hmm.
to get enough pitch to be able to whale. So you'd pay 2 for Crown after the Frostbite.
Yep.
And then you would have 1 floating, and hopefully you have at least a yellow card to be
It's a
able to
good
pitch
point.
for the
Yeah, that's true. So that's a play
for the whale.
he can make. But he chose not. So Liam chose not to block the use his second card for blocking there. So he ended up
Mhm.
taking 4 on the Finals Fighting Spirit. I wish I got a glimpse of that card. I don't really know how he can use it besides using it for Crown,
He might just be keeping it back for pitch
just in
to
case there's
block.
some arcane damage coming in. Yeah.
Yeah. It might also just be like a red card. I'm not really sure because he did block with
Yeah.
Red Thunderquake.
Yeah. That's a good point. Yeah. So it might be a red card too. Ended up I think that was a block for 6 if I'm not mistaken.
It was a block for 6.
So Iyslander might have. I think the score might be wrong. I think she might be at 24. Although I don't know if they added 1 health for the fighting spirit, so maybe they just canceled that out.
It might be a little bit bit
Yeah,
of lag behind.
yeah.
While they're just updating the live totals here, but we do see frosting for 1.
Frosting. Yummy frosted flakes.
Yeah, I mean, other than that, the issue is that you're not running Cornet Peak, so that extra blue in your hand doesn't really do anything.
Yeah, we did see an amulet, a frost amulet, get dropped. So lots of setup here. Very nice.
We do see the fat glacial
Okay.
fused, I imagine.
Yep. That's a fuse dominated glacial for 10.
Either 8. It's either 8 or 10.
I think the red is.
The red is 10.
I believe it's 10, right? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I just can't see
It does
whether it's
cost
red or blue
6.
at this point.
It looks red to me.
Okay.
I have the
fair
luxury
enough.
of having
So we're
a
gonna
bigger
assume.
screen, so
Yeah, we're gonna assume
I
they
assume
usually
it's
put
10.
dice on this stuff. Yeah, they usually put the dice.
Well, they
up.
did last time. The E-strike had a 7 on it. They're just slacking now, man. Come on.
They were doing a pretty good job before. I don't
Yeah.
know. I mean, you give them some credit here.
Yeah, yeah. I'm just
It is a little
it's
bit
better than what I would do.
Yeah, it is a little bit annoying. I remember when I was playing on stream at PT Jersey, and they made me like keep using the dice and everything. It takes up time as the player. Like these are
Yeah, you have to get used to it because you're not used to playing with those dice. It's like, okay, well, let's
No.
just make sure I flip this correctly every time.
Yeah, you
Slips
do
your
get
mind.
yeah you do get slightly more time for playing on stream because of things like that.
Right.
However, it's just a little bit like
Yeah.
I don't know. It's something
You
you
gotta
gotta
keep
keep in the
thinking
back of your
about
mind.
it. Yeah, yeah. It's not second nature to do it.
Yeah, I also don't like having to like record my life total twice. They had like a tablet up there when I was on there, and you had to
Yeah.
like click the thing, so I had to like write it down and then click the
Okay.
thing.
Oh, well, now we see it
It's a lot of
updated.
extra
So
stuff.
24 now on the Iyslander side.
Yep. So we do see a little bit of thought. We do see a finding. You see a heart of Findel, fighting spirit, a blue card,
Yeah, yeah.
and something else in the back there. So we definitely like at the very least, this is dominated, so he only
It might
gets
be. I think it's a
oh,
third
sink below.
Insidious. It's a third Insidious in hand.
So he has a sink below, which is kind of nice. So I imagine, giving that he's looking like he wants to pitch, I
Yeah,
guess he
his
could just
hand's
do
kind of
after.
hovering around the pitch area. Yeah. Um. Yeah, I
I
wonder if
imagine
the
he would
Arsenal
pitch
is a
the.
D react because it's the only way you'll be able to get over or get some more block in, right?
Mhm.
Since it's dominated.
Yeah, it's possible. I think the key here is that, are you trying to? So in this kind of matchup, you have to understand the tempo here. So if Oldhim is blocking everything for maximum value, swinging whale and passing, and focusing on preserving life,
Mm-hmm.
then you probably want to like look at setting up your item pieces because they're
Right.
just going to want to try to fatigue you out.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but if they're just like trading blow for blow, then it's a little bit. Oh, you see Emeritus Golden here.
Emeritus. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
And if they're trading kind of blow for blow, then you just generally want to focus on your mid-range strategy because you trade more efficiently on them. You don't really have to focus much about your item pieces and
Mm.
focus more about like being able to get your opponent low enough that it doesn't matter how many items you have because you're just gonna like
Yeah.
use your striders to kill them, right?
Yep.
So
Yep.
we do see the Emeritus here coming in for 4 because it is on your opponent's turn.
Yep.
We do see a block and another block, a lot of blues. So we get a pitch 3 for waiting and then pitch 3 for Emeritus. Only get to take 1 arcane damage, and you still have that big 10 boy,
Yeah,
that
just
big 10
staring you in
here.
the face. Yeah.
Yeah.
Although you know it's dominated, so there's not much you can do about it. So you might as well just kind of go swinging.
Yep. So
There's
we do
the
see that sink
sink.
below here.
Yeah, block for 4, taking 6. So
Yeah, taking
Emeritus
6.
costs 2, and
So
Waning
using the
Moon.
tunic there.
He used
Using
the
the tunic
tunic.
there
Oh,
rather
okay, I
than,
missed that.
yeah,
Yeah,
using
yeah,
the tunic there to be able to pay for that. So then he's just able to
yeah.
pitch 3,
I'll
coming
just
for the
note that
finals.
Oldhim's tunic is also on 3 right now, so he has it available for crown.
Mm-hmm. That's fair. No Arsenal, but he's got the tunic available.
He's got it for when he needs it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's true. So we do
Um,
see really good life gain, like up
mhm.
front, right? So you got the heart of final, and this is the second final spirit.
Yeah.
So it's Matthew Folk has already healed 3, which
Hmm.
is quite nice.
It's a built-in sigil right there.
Definitely, it's a built-in sigil right there, exactly. But it does damage, so it's like,
Hmm.
a little bit better.
Multi-purpose. Yeah.
The one caveat here is Matthew Folks is not going to have an arsenal because that was his last 2 cards here, and
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
yeah,
I mean,
blocking with
he.
1/3 block. This kind of means that something's coming your way because you're going to be taking 4 here.
I
I imagine
So
it's
I got a nice glimpse of the hand there. We have E Strike, we have Pummel, and we have Channel Lake Frigid.
okay. So it looks just going to be E strike for 7, and then you're going to try to arsenal card, which is
Yeah,
pretty
probably the
reasonable. It looks
Pummel,
like
I
he kept the
guess.
pummel. It
Yeah.
looks like he kept the pummel. So it's just going to be E strike for 7,
Yeah.
which is good. Like you just generally want to like big one-off attacks are better into Iyslander because
Hmm.
they can't. In this case, there's no arsenal on Icelander's side, but usually they're able to do that frostbite. So a more aggressive line could have been E strike, bottom the pummel, 5 go again, pitch to blue channel,
Right.
Winter's Wail for Frosty 4. It's probably that's the more aggressive play coming in for 9 and
For
turning into
9 and a
frostbite.
Frostbite potentially. Yeah.
Yeah, but keeping the pummel is just easier because your tunic is on 3, right? So you
Hmm.
do want to be in the position where, hey, if you really need that extra card to
Yeah.
prevent like a shit ton of damage for some reason,
Yeah.
you can use the tunic, get your extra card, or if
Hmm.
you just draw CNC, right? And then here, let's say like Matthew Folks maybe has like kind of medium hand, wants to block with 3 cards and just arsenal pass.
Hmm.
Then you come in with that pitch for CNC, and
Yeah.
then you essentially just need your tunic and your 1 floated
Yeah,
off
it's
of
true.
the blue.
It covers a few bases, right? You can kind of go off if you're given a little more space, or if you got to back off, then you can easily just tunic that and get a 5 card hand.
Yeah, exactly. And then that tunic is very flexible for cards like Endless Winter that we saw before. That's
Hmm.
very, very annoying if it's fused for
Yeah.
Iyslander, because dealing with it and giving yourself like multiple
Hmm.
frostbites just really poor
Yeah.
for your own kind of hand economy here. So it really depends. I do like the play in general as opposed to the more aggressive line and not having the arsenal. So we're just
Yeah.
gonna block for 3 here.
I
I think
think
get 4
that
free
that does make
damage.
sense. Yeah, getting 4 damage.
So
Matthew's I mean he's taking a lot of damage, but often not voluntarily because dominate and so on. But
yeah, it's likely going to be a play that's either pitched 3 for an 8 or a 7,
yeah,
or maybe some kind of non-block like an
I think
item.
that's probably it. Pitch 3 for either a Findle's Fighting Spirit or a Wounded Bull. I do see a Scar, so that's likely going to be a Scar. Maybe pitch for something else. I would say prioritizing Arsenal makes a lot of sense here as Iyslander, just
Yeah,
because you want
or
to be able to get some damage off.
yeah, or you can attempt to scar pitch and then wounded bull or final fighting spirit. However, then you're susceptible to Oldhim ice react. So I don't
Yeah, it's a
think
little
that's
rough.
the
Yeah.
play.
Although
Yeah, I don't.
it's not awful because you can always Arsenal the last card if he does ice react you. So
But you took 4.
you did take
You took
four. You
4
took
to you
four.
took 4 to
Yeah,
hit 4
yeah.
back, where you're on lower life. That's pretty bad,
Yeah, it's
like, in
four
my
instead of
opinion.
like
Like
12 that you could have been threatening. So it does
it's
hurt, but
pretty bad.
at least you can Arsenal a card. It's not the end of the world, but you did commit. Yeah,
That's I would consider that like a
pretty.
misplay at this kind of
Yeah.
level of play. Like I don't think you just assume Oldhim doesn't have an ice card in these
Mm,
builds. These builds, Oldhim's rocking a shit ton of ice cards.
yeah,
Like you
that's
can
fair.
really
Yeah.
you see a scar for a scar with 2 cards, you're really not gonna ice react that? I feel like that's a
I think
misplay on
you
Oldhim's side, right?
yeah, that's true. That's true.
And then Oldhim can just use the tunic, get an extra card. So like really you're just pitching that ice card, but you're gonna get an extra card from your tunic crown anyway. So there's really
Hmm.
zero reason why you're ice reacting once you see a scar. So it actually does look like there's a fighting spirit, I think, in there.
Okay.
I'm not 100% sure, but
Yeah, we'll
we
see.
do
So we'll
a
see
little
what he
hesitation.
does. Yeah, we'll see if Oldhim. I did see an ice channel Lake Frigid, so this is definitely a chance to
Yes.
ice react.
I'm trying to see what's in Matthew's hand right now, but I'm struggling a little bit.
He's
He's
doing a
keeping them
good
close to the
job.
chest.
Yeah. Oh, we'll find out
Um,
soon enough.
yeah, so I feel like Liam's gonna do pretty much what I recommended here. Just
Okay.
gonna use the tunic, get the card, see what's up, because then
Oh,
you could just
he
assess
swapped
like how
pummel
good
for
your hand.
pummel.
You know what? That's happened a lot to me. Where it's
Yeah.
like I just need an attack. Just kidding.
Yeah.
So blocking with a blue thunderquake, it looks like.
Yep.
And oh,
And
whoa, look at that!
he had
Oh,
a
he's got a
blizzard
nice card.
also.
I'm shocked.
So yeah, wow.
No,
Which
that's the
means he
play.
probably can't get out ice channel like Frigid because he doesn't have any more ice cards. But likely he
Mhm.
can pitch it for the Winter's Whale. Maybe an
Yep.
attack and then Winter's Whale.
Yep. But like, you're gonna get your tunic counter. You have 3 cards in hand. I mean, they're
Yeah.
not particularly good cards,
So
but they're cards.
yeah, so Matthew did get hit by that. Kind of I wish I knew what was in his hand. I don't know if he was planning for another big attack. He likely was because he
I
took the
feel like it was a
damage.
blue. Yeah, it was a pitch a blue 3 for 7 or 3 for 8. But in this
Yeah.
particular case, the nice thing about Liam's hand is it looks kind of bad. However, you're gonna pitch
Mm.
for an icy wheel. You have a rouse and a pummel,
Okay.
and
Yeah.
because you're on Arcane Barrier 3, you just pitch the rouse and you're blocking 3. You don't
Yep.
need crown.
Arsenal pummel
You,
looking
you
pretty
don't
good.
need crown in your life. Yeah, Arsenal
Yeah.
pummels. It's not too bad.
Hmm.
Not too shabby.
It's looking good. Yeah. The
Yeah,
lantern's
so I'm gonna
pretty good tech. I feel like that's kind of like a
the
newer thing.
lantern. I have played around with the lantern. I brought it to like some armories. I've played online with it. I think the lantern's fine. I
Hmm.
think it shines in very specific scenarios, but then taking a deck slot for it, I
Hmm.
don't know yet. I know a lot of people like it, but
Yeah.
then I don't know if this is the matchup I'm really trying to grab another arcane barrier one. Like,
Yeah. You could potentially block
uh,
4 with Crown of Seeds. I don't know how important 4 is compared to 3. The
well,
Ice
you just
Veins
block
can be
you
5 or
block
4.
yellow.
You can
You
block
block
yellow
yellow.
Ice Vein, yeah. I
Yeah.
think the Aether Hail too is for 4. So there are ways that you could block some, I guess, pretty like unavoidable sources of damage, or previously
Mhm.
unavoidable. So if your game is to fatigue, if you're on the more fatigue version of the deck, I think it makes sense.
Yeah. Okay, so then we do
Yeah.
see another fighting spirit. Why did he take his tunic counter off?
What did he pitch? He pitched a frosting. Oh, might have missed something. There's one more card under the E-pot. Is it a second amulet? It might be.
It might be, but that wouldn't cost him the.
No, it wouldn't.
Maybe I didn't see it.
Is that like the Weather Vane card? I don't know if I'm crazy. That costed 1.
Oh, is
Uh,
it? It doesn't.
uh, yeah, we'll find out. We'll see.
Okay.
We'll find out
Sorry,
what
I
that
just like
was. Yeah.
I could have sworn he was on Tunic 3, but maybe I'm nuts. I don't know. I could be wrong here,
I missed
but
it too, so it's fine. I think we can assume that that's an amulet, and he just pitched 3 for the Fyendal's Fighting Spirit.
the amulet costs 0. Okay, well we'll wait for this. I'm gonna go check. You can talk about something as I go check.
Sure, sure. All right. So yeah, coming in for 7. Very nice to be able to heal for 1. I like that the heal is kind of unavoidable, like swing in one direction, instead of a swing for 8. I kind of think that might be more valuable than 8 damage. So even though he took a lot of damage earlier, or the Iyslander took a lot of damage earlier, the health total is not like insurmountable. The lead is from what I can tell. If you can get Oldhim probably below 8, you're probably looking good with your Stormstriders. I'm not sure what the exact threshold is against Oldhim, because his Arcane Barrier 3 plus the Crown, but there's still some to get over here. So the Ice Hammer, I guess the regular non-frosty hammer is coming in for 4. Another Sink Below.
I understand. I looked back. It was because of Winter's Wail did hit, so there was a frostbite. It was just gone very fast.
Oh, that makes sense.
So
okay.
the Tunic was there to pay for. He pitched 3 to use Tunic, gained the resource back, and then he Fighting Spirited.
Yeah, nothing costed 1 there. Yeah, okay. Red Ice Vein, very nice, showing the Frost Hex.
Red Ice Vein.
So is Frost Hex part of the main game plan here? Is that kind of the priority where you want to put up Frost Hexes, or you're kind of just using them for blue ice cards at this point?
Yes and no. And I say that because the game shifts depending on what kind of Oldhim you're playing against, and then what Oldhim is actually doing, right? Because maybe a more mid-rangey or aggressive Oldhim could switch to both strategies in reality, right? So I think because you're going to run a lot of the same big attacks, you just might not be taking damage to hit with them, right? You might just be like blocking with them or something like that. So I think you do want to get hexes out when you get some breathing room, right? But the key is it's up to Matthew to understand the game tempo enough and this matchup enough to figure out whether he needs to be prioritizing hexes. At the moment, it looks like there's a lot of trading going on. Yeah. He's at 16 though, so it's a little bit interesting. Like I don't think he's gonna be able to easily close out a game without frost hexes if Liam decides that he wants to start blocking, and I think Liam might do that if he sees Matthew Folks blocking with frost hexes, pitching frost hexes. I think he might just change the strategy. That's kind of the sign that that's the sign that you know the matchup, right? Like you can see, analyze what your opponent is pitching, what they're blocking with, what they're attacking with, what they're prioritizing. We do see double trigger on the chill for this.
This is a very good turn to get it also, because I believe it's a Pummel and Arsenal plus CNC in hand. So the combo was assembled here, but he's going to be taxed 3 times on his hand right now.
Yep. Yeah. We do see the pitch hypothermia 4 crowns. You're going to get that 1 prevention. So he's likely going to only end up taking 1 from the Ice Fiend. However, he's going to essentially have to give him 6 or start discarding.
And the hand looks pretty red too. I think I see at least 2 red cards there.
And now that's actually fairly good, and I'll say that because Icelander's at 16, and Matthew Folks is essentially, he doesn't know it right now, but he's essentially wasting all of his discard effects because Insidious Chill only has a certain number of counters. And if Liam is able to healthily, start discarding red cards, which he is doing, that's fine, because then when and if Matthew goes off later in the game, you're way more likely to have 4 blues, which is exactly what you need, because you don't need to be doing anything crazy. Like a lot of your blue cards are big, like Thunderquake for 8. You can Rouse of the Ancients. You can Macho Grande.
Footsteps still for 8. Glacial,
Footsteps for 8 dominated. Yep. So like a lot of your blue cards are still good. So getting out these, like if you can attack with these red cards, fantastic. But if your opponent is saying like, okay, so I'm going to waste 2 of these triggers, I'm going to make you do this, but I'm not actually presenting lethal. Like, because the key is you really need the chill triggers to present lethal. Take away the cards to get a bunch of damage on like an Ice Eternal or something like that, or make sure that Oldhim is just not holding a lot of blue cards, especially when he's on Arcane Barrier 3 with the Crown, right? That's kind of the key. And so I really like Liam's play by just discarding the red cards, not like being greedy and just like keeping them and like discarding or like pitching.
He basically got rid of the Pummel and the CNCs there, figuring out that I think the game plan's going to shift a bit at this point, right?
It's not even necessary at this point because it's like, well, Matthew's already on 16. He's used a lot of his health gain already. As far as the
Yeah,
finals fighting spirit,
at least
heart
two.
probably will come
He
around.
might have
Yeah,
played
at least
3.
two.
I think it was all 3 at this point, plus the heart for 4 health gain.
Yeah, so it's
And
gonna be
while you're
fairly
looking up
minimal.
the one resource, he did play his third finals fighting spirit there.
Yeah, the one that was the ice reacted, Liam ice reacted, unable
Yeah,
to
exactly. The
get
one
that
he had to
off.
arsenal back. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
hmm
And we're
So we
seeing,
do
I believe he's
see,
triggering
yes.
the ice amulet
Mhm.
or the frost amulet.
Amulet of Ice.
Amulet of ice.
Amulet of Ice.
There it is.
Swing and a miss.
Got there
Uh,
eventually.
he, he does have a second amulet under the Epot. Liam just has one card in hand. So
hmm
I I'm not 100% sure why
Why use the amulet there?
Matthew decided to use amulet.
hmm
I There probably is a reason that he's doing it. Oh, it looks like he wants all of his cards. So he might be like seeing this as an opportunity to do damage on his turn.
Yeah, and there's value in that. The Oldhim's already at 20. Get a whale or the waning moon in there for 3 more. Or is this is
Yep.
currently his turn, so it'd be 2 more. I'm sorry, not 3. But
The second amulet was actually really good because he got the Epot out, right? Because if
mm,
Liam was able to get the Epot and just play it, very strong, like very very good, like definitely worth the three health,
mm,
unless they're putting you on lethal. But they could just like not have that much. They don't have any like Matthew. He doesn't have any frost hexes on the field,
yeah,
so really like he's only doing the raw arcane damage from the arsenal and then maybe
right.
a waning moon. But then you have an Epos, so when they do lethal, it's very bad. But now Liam
Mm,
has nothing. Let's see what folks has got up.
yep.
He's got nothing. So if he did an amulet and he got that second Epot off,
Yeah.
very very
It
strong.
would have been really, really good. Yeah, yeah.
We do see
Okay.
another amulet. So this is the third amulet device.
Yes.
This
Yeah.
is the third amulet device. I don't know about popping both amulets there.
Mm.
Uh,
Yeah.
keep letting him keep
Yeah.
two cards.
I think,
Like
like
that's
you
what he
said, got rid of the pot there. You're basically trading off equal material, I guess. One amulet for the pot.
Well, you're not really because you're using two of your cards to make him pitch two of his cards, and those are resources that
That's a
you're
good
not going to get
point.
back,
That's a good point.
right?
Yeah, he does get to keep them. Yeah.
Mhm. And there is blue
E-strike.
cards, which is fine putting back in his deck. Like
Right.
he's totally okay putting those blue cards back.
It's
So
a
we do
good
see an
point.
E-strike.
It's a good point. Although if you look at it from the point of view that you're trying to put Oldhim on the back foot now, he could really
Mhm.
swing back tempo with 2 epots. I think he can pretty much do anything if he pops both and play out like a giant attack, right? So I think if you're trying to claw back tempo at this point, preventing your opponent to have any kind of escape mechanism is
Yeah,
worthwhile, I think. But we'll see if
that's
it pays
reasonable.
out. I don't really know. Just kind of speculating at this point.
Yep. So we do see just a waning moon. He did play that amulet device, so the waning moon will come in for two,
Hmm?
and then Arsenal coming in here.
Was he
Oldhim
strike
taking a
for
little bit of
5? It was
damage.
5 go again, right?
No, it was seven because waning moon is just an instant. So
Oh, okay, right. So he must have blocked 6, took 1. Oh, I might have missed. Oh, he might have crowned. No, he didn't have an arsenal. Um, okay. Well, he
did he
took
take?
2 damage that turn, so I guess the math
I,
checked out.
I don't. Yeah, I don't see why it would be five go again if you just get a waning moon. So
That's
I'm
true.
assuming it was
Yeah,
seven. I thought otherwise that'd be a pretty big
because
misplay. I really
the
wouldn't
way,
expect to see that kind of
yeah, the
misplay
way it
here.
looked was that Oldhim blocked for 6 on the E strike, didn't take damage, then took
There
2
might,
from
there
the
might have been a
waning
two
moon.
block. There
Oh,
might
there
have
might
been.
have
Oh
been.
yeah.
Okay, okay. Yeah, there might have been a 2 block.
Uh, it could be. I don't know. Maybe you're right. Maybe it was a five go again. I don't know.
Hmm. But
I
Matthew
think either
didn't play
place sounds
any
fine.
action cards after that, so it had to be 7, right? I mean, this is top level play. I don't think they would make that mistake.
Unless maybe he really because he only had one card in hand, which he's almost definitely going to arsenal. Like unless he had like a scar or
Hmm.
something that he really wants to play
Yeah,
out, and
yeah,
then where it's like okay, I guess, but doesn't really
yeah.
matter. So we do just see a warm four, just damage here.
Hmm.
So we're gonna see if
A
Matthew
war, yeah,
decides.
worm 4. Just a
Liam's
nice
only on one card.
worm hammer.
Yeah, one card
Yeah.
without a crown.
Hmm.
So or without an arsenal to crown. So only maximum three pitch, two off the energy potion, but Oldham is getting dangerously low here. So
Yeah,
18 versus 16, pretty good
yeah.
spot. I mean,
I'm very impressed that Matthew was able to bring this back. As I mentioned before, it wasn't insurmountable because he had the built up resources in the chilling Sorry, in the Insidious
Mhm.
Chills, in the Amulets.
Yep.
So he used them pretty
Yep.
wisely here to claw back the lead. And once you're at even health, you're looking pretty good, especially if you're lower totals, because your potential burst is higher than Oldham's at this point.
Yep. Nope. Makes sense. Just gonna take the warm 4, tunic up to
Okay.
3 on Matthew's side. So
I
I'm
kind of
expecting it
expected a reaction, but I think he just doesn't have a blue in Arsenal.
might just be an ice vein
Oh, it was a
or a
polar blast. Yeah.
polar blast.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep. Looks to be. It might be yellow actually. I don't know if I can tell at this point, but it looks kind of yellow.
Okay. Question mark polar
Question mark.
blast.
We'll see the deck tag or the deck list later, but it's
He is going
either
to.
yellow or red. I don't even think he'd play red actually. It must be blue. Anyway.
So he has 2 floating, so it is blue. Because
Okay.
it's pay 1 or dominate, right?
Right. Okay. There you go. So never mind. I'm crazy. It's a blue.
It is blue. Yeah, it is blue. Thank God. No, no crazy yellow polar blast tech
Would have
here.
been
So
fun to
we are gonna
see
see.
like the rainbow polar blast build.
Yep.
Yeah. There we go.
So that wounded bull does not have dominate.
Yep.
The payment was made,
It's
and
funny because now with the introduction of these big swingy attacks with Findle's Fighting Spirit and Wounded Bull, Polar Blast makes a lot more sense in Iyslander.
mhm,
Before it didn't really, because you're coming in with spells for 5, spells for 4. It's like,
yep,
what are you gonna do with that dominate?
it's true.
So it makes a lot of sense in this build.
It does. So we're gonna see coming in for 8 here. Liam deciding to possibly crown. Oh no, he is going to crown. Okay,
Mm.
and then he's going to.
Oh, interesting. He spent 1 and pitched red. Did I catch that correctly?
Yeah, he did pitch a red. It looks like.
Yeah. Okay.
Looks like a red. Looks like a red thunderquake.
Yeah, I think so.
What did he pitch the red for?
Yeah, because he had a floating, right? He paid 1 for Polar Blast.
He paid 1 for polar blast. Had 2 floating.
And then where the huh.
I don't know. I'm not
Kind of
totally
stumped.
sure
Was
what's
there a
going on there.
waning plate? No.
And it's Matthew's turn, so there's no frostbite for like polar blast doesn't generate a frostbite there. Okay,
Hmm.
I don't know. Whatever.
Hmm.
Doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
We're gonna go to Liam's turn here. He has 1 card, tunic going up to 1, or tunic going up to whatever tunic's up to. Not really
I
sure.
can let you know it's at 2 right now.
It's a 2, so Liam's just gonna pass, I imagine. I don't think swinging the hammer is gonna be the correct
Mm.
play. Yeah, he's gonna pass because he wants to get as much value to crown as he can, right? So
Yeah, and also to not swing the hammer and get just eaten alive by a bunch of arcane damage here
mhm.
at instant speed. I think keeping a blue behind or whatever it is makes sense. And if it's not a blue,
yeah,
you can't
straight
do anything anyway.
yeah, straight up just like losing would be bad here, you know. So probably
Yeah.
not pitching to swing the hammer because you're at 17. You
Yeah,
can
it's true. You very well
um
could. Well, I mean, it's a little high.
no,
You'd probably
I
get
don't think
pretty
you're
low.
dying
You,
here.
you won't die. Yeah, yeah.
I don't think you're dying here, but I think there's no reason to just take extra damage to swing for 4. Right? There's
Yeah.
a lot of ways you could prevent 4 with tunic up, like Brother in Arms blocks
Mhm.
for 4 off the tunic,
Oh,
right, or
yeah,
off just any pitch.
that's true. We're
There's
seeing,
also
speaking of Brother
no
in Arms,
what is it? Oh, okay, another Emeritus
Emeritus.
Scolding.
Yeah, so we'll see this last card here pay off. I think it was a blue footsteps, so taking only 1
Yep.
from this, and then 3 more for
Three,
waning
three,
moon.
3 from the waning. Yeah, so you're gonna get 4 damage across, which is
Yeah,
pretty reasonable.
yeah. So if he had swung with the with the Winter's Wail, would have been 4 for 7, right? 7 from Matthew Folks. So not really a winning trade.
Correct. That is accurate.
Yeah,
So we're gonna
the math
see
checks out.
Liam. Yeah, we see Liam draw up, and now it's 12 to 13. So it's looking mighty good for the Iyslander here. We're gonna see an E-pot popped for.
Hmm.
And then you're gonna pitch an Ice Vein, I
It's
guess,
a
for a red card of some sort because you're gonna
yeah.
need a 3
I think
pitch
it's
or something.
another Wounded
New
Bull.
bull.
Wounded Bull. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's reasonable. You're still at lower health, so it comes in for 8. Might
Just
as
by
well.
1, yeah. And it's funny. I think this
Yeah,
is his last big attack. That's for if you have lower health than your opponent. So it's like
yeah.
perfect timing.
hmm
We're seeing a
We're
block
gonna see
for
a block for
6.
6.
Yep. Taking
Taking 2.
2. Going to 11. For the first time, Iyslander has more health now, and where it really counts. I think.
Yeah, really good timing. I mean, got like most of your life gain effects off. We see Tunic's at 3 now, right? So Warm
Yeah,
Hammer
warm
for
hammer.
4.
We're seeing these warm hammers a lot. It's a little unfortunate because the 1 extra frostbite could have easily mitigated that 8 damage from the wounded bull, right?
Mm.
So it's a little
Yeah, no,
unfortunate. I
for
think
sure.
the timing of these earth and ice cards is not exactly where Liam wants it to be.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see whether Matthew takes this. He might have to take a big hand for
Mm.
follow up. Goes down to 8.
Yeah, yeah,
It really depends how patient he wants to be. Again, he has no frost hexes, so I think he's like bought into the tempo already. Like
yeah.
It's not the bought into the tempo. He's
He's
bought into
dismissed
kind of
that
the idea.
game plan.
Yeah, I think he just wants to win off of
Oh,
like,
he is
oh,
blocking with
with
Ice
ice.
Eternal.
That's fair. I mean, you have two more, right? So
Yeah.
blocking with Ice Eternal, taking one, going to 11 seems fine. But I think he really has bought in. I don't know how many. He's seen at least one Frost Hex.
Hmm.
I don't think he's seen the other two yet. Oh, he has one in his hand. Okay, so that's the second one's in his hand.
Okay. I
I
think it's a second Ice
imagine.
Eternal, if I saw that correctly. Yeah, I think that's another. There's a second Ice Eternal that he's pitching
Yeah.
right now.
So he's gonna
That
pitch an Ice
was
Eternal.
a full blue hand, wasn't it? Or it looks like it could be.
Looks like it. So you see
Um,
another Ice Vein
but
coming out
this
here.
makes more sense. I think that a fused Ice Vein with the Insidious Chill procs at 11 health, this is looking like the kind of game plan you want at this stage of the game.
Yeah. Yeah, you have two triggers, you have Frost Amulet.
You're gonna get damage
So
here no matter what, and it could be more than Liam would like to get let through.
yeah, so I'm expecting to see that tip tunic on 3 to be used for crown.
Yeah,
Um pretty like fast. And depending on how many red, it looks like there's it could be 0. It could be an all blue hand
from
from
Liam.
Liam here.
I
Yeah,
do
which is
see Cranial. I think I might have seen a, Terra Sunder in there.
mm,
Uh, yeah, there's a
yeah.
Terra. Yeah, anyway,
Yeah.
it looks all
We
blue to
might
me. Yeah.
Yeah, we might see a like a pitch polar blast for like waning for 2, but like I think that's fine. So it looks like he's gonna attempt to crown here and see if there's any responses. I think yeah,
Yeah.
Matthew's firmly in the driver's seat despite that earlier misplay with the scar for a scar, not
Right.
respecting the ice reacts. I think other than that, it's been fairly clean from both players.
Yeah.
I haven't seen anything too crazy going on here, but other than that, it's been a pretty well played game by both of these players, kind of just doing
Yep.
what their decks are designed. They're trying to execute their game plan, right? So I do feel like I'm still a little bit worried about the lack of frost access to close out the game because you've used all your 3 for 8s, 3 for 7s
And
on
this
Matthew
might
Folk's side.
be the second. Geez, what's the name of the card? The 5 arcane damage card here.
Ice
Aether
Vein,
Ice Vein.
Red
Sorry,
Ice
I
Vein.
think it's
Yeah,
the
yeah,
second
Red Ice
Ice
Vein, Ice
Vein
Vein.
that we're seeing. He might have one more.
Mm-hmm.
Not enough to close
Yeah,
the
that's
game,
fair.
but what you could do is you can catch Oldhim on a weak hand, and then you could also just pump out Storm Striders and get some free damage in. So I think that's likely how it's going to end.
Yeah, I feel like Strider's a good card, obviously, but I
Yeah, and that's
feel
how
like
most
it's a
Iyslander
matter of
games end too. Yeah.
yeah, he has one Emeritus left because he's used 2,
Hmm.
right? One of the big cards coming out of the arsenal. Now,
Yeah. Maybe some Aether Hails. I think he used one, or he blocked with one.
yeah, again, my issue is Oldhim is on AB3 plus Crown, meaning he can just soak an Emeritus to the face,
Yeah.
and he could just pitch 3 for waning, and then
Hmm.
you're essentially, if he has 2 more blues in his hand, he has an E-Pod out there, unless you're like coming at him with a whole lot of disruption.
Yeah, the pot's going to
He's gonna
make
be
a
able to
difference. Mm.
yeah, he's gonna be able to soak a lot of this. So I think Liam just thinking about okay, so it looks like Matthew responded to the Crown of Seeds with the Waiting Moon, is what I
Mm.
believe is going on. So it is a Waiting Moon for
Yeah.
2 here.
It right. Okay, he responded to the activation of the Crown of Seeds. Yeah, yeah.
Mhm. Exactly, and you have played your Ice Vein here, so you've played your non-attack. You're good to go.
Yeah.
You're looking spiffy.
It is nice that the tunic has been used at this point, so there's no extra resource to block arcane damage at this point. If you wanted it, right? So you don't get the benefit of having the extra card in hand from your crown. You're at this like right the middle stage where the cost has been paid, and you don't get the benefit
Mhm.
yet. So this is a pretty good window, I think, for the Waning Moon.
Yeah, I don't I don't really know what Liam's kind of considering here. His hand looks fairly straightforward. I
Mm.
guess he's thinking about whether I can just eat this extra 2, but I don't think the answer is yes. Like I think the answer is no
Yeah,
most of
he
the
might
time.
be
Going down to 11.
thinking at this point of the game, he might want to get Terrace Under off. I think that's probably a
Mm,
consideration where you need a tempo swing.
that
Um,
seems very loose. I don't know if you
mm,
can just afford that play anymore for 5 dominate. And he's got Gauntlet, he's got Crown of
right.
Providence. I think Terra Sunder's a dead card for all intents
You
and
think so?
purposes. I
Okay.
think
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I mean, work with a
I
three
I
card hand, I guess, but
I think so. Yeah.
yeah.
So it looks like the Crown of Seeds. So he's gonna pay two, and then the tunic's gonna go off to pay for the crown, and then he's gonna pay off the chill triggers
Hmm.
because there's two chill triggers on that. So it looks like he's paid
Oh
with
yeah,
two blues
yeah.
and his tunic.
Of course, with that kind of tax, there's no way you're playing Terra Asunder. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. No, that's in my mind. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Um,
So he is able to pay through that.
mm.
Matthew might be considering popping Amulet here. Or yeah, those resolved. He held priority, so now Ice Vein's resolving. Yep, now Ice Vein's resolving. So he does have that. Liam does have three cards left because of the crown, so probably gonna
Yeah,
start to pitch
he did
because
keep
he still
Terra
has the
Asunder.
one prevention.
He
Yeah,
kept
probably
Terra
just gonna
Asunder.
pitch a blue.
Yeah, yeah.
So he's gonna take one here, I imagine, regardless, and then have
Mm.
to pay the cost of Ice Vein, I believe.
Yes, that's right. So I believe pitch two or discard. Likely a pitch two here, given the
Mm.
hand situation. Yeah. So
Yep. So
taking one.
AB3.
Yeah, crown has been used to block four of the five, and then we'll see some a cost being paid.
Eventually.
Yeah, it's got to pay your taxes. Yeah, there's the one damage coming through from the Ice Vein.
Yep.
Yeah, and he ended
Looks
up
like
pitching
he's gonna.
three, spent two on the cost and one floating.
Yeah, Matthew considering the amulet
The amulet,
here.
yeah.
Looks like pretty good timing. Yeah, I was about to say.
There's
I was
the
about to say
pot.
like that might be a very good time to pop the epoch because that's the
Mm.
last amulet device, and he only has
Mm.
one trigger left on those
On the
insidious chills.
Insidious,
So,
yeah.
mhm. So essentially, without the amulets, he only has to pay four, which
Mm.
as Oldhim, not that difficult to pay for,
Right.
as far as like disruption goes. And there's no frost hexes again.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so yeah, looking close. I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm a little bit worried.
I do think it is Iyslander favored because you can still get off one big turn with the Insidiouses plus
Hmm.
Stormstriders now without an Epod on Oldhim's side. It's easier to catch him with a small hand after he's kind of committed a bit.
Yeah.
If he has like one card left, a single blue, it won't be really enough to block lethal, I think. So you can get one big turn off the Insidiouses, and then your Stormstrider should be able to close the game. On the Oldhim side, though, one good, well positioned dominate card might be enough to like put Iyslander on the back foot.
Hmm.
But we are seeing now the Frost Hex, so gonna be really good to push out a bit of
Finally.
damage. Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like we haven't seen like a frostbite on the Oldhim side like for a long time. Might be
Yeah,
the
it just usually
first
gets paid
first
off.
or second now. Yeah.
Hmm.
I'm
Yeah.
liking the.
So
Is that an altar Iyslander? On
yeah, yeah,
that's cool.
yeah. It looks like an altar Iyslander. Looks like altar frostbite too.
Yeah, that one definitely. That's cool.
I thought I saw an E strike in Matthew Folks's hand. That might just be the
He does.
play.
No, I think you're right. Yeah, you're right. It's an E strike.
Hmm. Yeah. So I imagine you just get a pat. What is he thinking about here? What else is there to do here? I'm a little bit confused.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah, it's just one damn, yeah, just one from the frost. Okay,
I
yeah,
think
I
that's
got a little bit
that was the
confused. I'm like,
consideration. Yeah, yeah.
well,
Oh,
I was just like, what else? What else are you gonna do on his turn? You have literally no plays. What are you gonna
yeah.
Striders? Like, was he considering
Maybe he
Striders?
was
Like,
considered, but yeah, I don't know if there was anything he could have played.
seems insanely loose with each strike in your hand to consider Striders. That's your like winning game con. Like,
Right.
you have no frost
Right.
hexes out, right? Not yet. You just got one now, so I
Yeah.
don't like.
I think Striders
Don't
for
know.
an Eternal is probably the right way to go, or for the
Yeah,
last
luckily
Ice
this
Vein.
is
Oh,
yeah, well, pretty good block there. Able to block with two reds on a fizz. Like that's
yeah.
really good when you're able to get those reds out
It's
of your
true
hand
because that's when you need them the
you're
most, right?
dwindling.
For
Yeah,
physical armor.
yeah, Matt, Iyslander is dwindling on physical attacks. So getting these reds out of your hands because you don't
Mm.
really need that much to close out the game if you're Oldhim. You don't need that much on Iyslander.
Yeah.
Ooh, he's gonna try to resolve the second pot.
Okay, we'll see if Iyslander wants to react to this. Now would be a great time for a third Emeritus and a Waning Moon. I think this is the
Yeah.
point. There might actually be a window here, I think, to maybe go all out, depending on what's in the hand. Because Oldhim, well, although he has the pot now, he does have 5 total block if it's a blue in hand.
So the EPOT hasn't resolved yet. So I think he's waiting on the
Right.
resolution of the EPOT. I'm not sure if is either you're waiting on the resolution of the EPOT or you're just passing after playing the EPOT. I'm
It's a
not
good
really
point.
sure which one it is.
Yeah.
Now, The issue I have with going off with one Frost Hex is that Liam can just pitch a blue and Crown of Seeds, and then you have five floating essentially after the two left over in the blue, assuming you draw a blue. But I
Mm-hmm.
feel like I've seen a lot of the reds either blocked or discarded. Like CNCs
Mm,
are all gone. A lot of the spinals, the Endless Winter is being played. Like
yeah.
you don't have that many
And
reds left in your
Tunic's
deck.
at 2 right now, so he doesn't have Tunic for this.
Mhm. Yeah,
Yeah.
so it would just be at the 5 and not the 6 is what it could have been, I guess,
Yeah.
if he had the tunic.
We do have the double Insidious, well, the single charge on both Insidiouses that could play a part here.
Mhm.
You could easily tax 4 resources out of Oldhim, and he won't really have anything left for the actual physical damage. So, if you do use Storm Striders on an Ice Vein for 5, maybe your arsenal is a blue Emeritus, and then maybe you can come in with the Waning Moon. That's likely going to be game.
Mhm.
Just take a check of the graveyard here. Probably counting. There's a lot of things to count. Maybe counting the Insidious or the Emeritus. Counting the Ice
Yeah,
Veins,
I don't
perhaps.
know. I don't know what stage we're at. I don't know if it's resolved. Oh, okay, it's resolved. He's passed.
Okay.
Okay, everything's good.
Yeah. So there
Yep.
was
So the
yeah
the
no
EPOT
no
resolved.
window. Yeah.
Oh, Liam able to sneak an EPOT.
Yeah.
Very proud. Very proud. Like that's the heads up Guardian play right there.
Mm, yeah. Very well done.
Yeah, very well done.
Oh, is
Played a
that
single
pitching
card.
9? Do I see a 9 pitch for Ice Eternal? All right. Love it.
Wait a minute. He pitched Frost Hex, Ice Vein, and what else for Ice Eternal?
It might be Aether Hail.
What's the middle card that he pitched? I can't see it. I know he fused with an Aether Hail, but
It's definitely blue. I just can't tell what it is. Yeah,
um,
it looks like a wizard card, judging by the border. It might actually be double. I think it's double Ice Vein, double blue Ice Vein.
double blue Ice Vein, Ice. Okay, so you're pitching 9. You declare X as 4,
So it's gonna be
5. Oh, 5 off Tunic. 5 off Tunic. I imagine
oh,
that's
that makes
probably what
sense.
that is. Yeah,
Right.
5 off Tunic. Fusing, so it's going to eventually create 5 Frostbites after all of this is done. It does
Yeah.
have 1 Frost X out, so it's going to be 5 damage, assuming nothing else.
Yeah.
Now,
So both Insidious is proc.
yeah, this is on Matthew Folks' turn, right?
It
So
is. Yeah.
there's no like extra Frostbites given for like a Stridersing out if he wanted to.
Mm.
There wouldn't be any ulterior ways. Now, because this is Matt Folks' turn,
Ooh.
Icelander's turn, those five frostbites are not going to pop immediately. They will pop
Right.
at the end of
So
Liam's turn,
Oldhim will have
right?
a
So
chance to pay them off if he wants to, if he can.
yeah, with Tunic,
Yeah.
well, Tunic, you could pay it. You could pay it to Tunic, or you could pay it to Crown. Those are like your two kind of options as Oldhim.
Mhm.
Now, I I'm a little confused at this play. So the reason like, don't get me
Okay.
wrong, I'm not 8-0 at the Battle Hardened. I'm not an Icelander pro. I've
Yeah.
seen a lot of good Icelander players, especially like Yuki's local. I've seen her play Icelander a lot. I've seen other players play Icelander a
Right.
lot.
Right.
So I'm not a pro by an expert, but I feel the better play was just to like play the Frost Hex. Like you essentially got a free window to play it
Mm.
out
I think
and just
knowing that you had a full hand of blue might make it more enticing to play the Eternal here. I don't know how dense his deck is with blues right now. It probably is like likely to be almost all blues at this point, but maybe the window
yeah,
kind of presented itself, and it's like I think I want to get this off now.
that's fine. My only issue is now you're essentially blowing the last of your disruption. Like these are
Right.
the last two triggers you
Yeah,
have
the
on
last
City.
Insidious is yeah. He maybe the mentality is you're gonna be able to get some damage off here, pretty much guaranteed, right? 5 arcane can't block it all. And
Yeah,
the if you do block some of it here, you can't pay through all the frostbites on your next turn. I think he's banking on this on the frostbites hitting, right?
yeah. So he's
And
only
dealing
gonna take
5.
one. Yeah, he's only gonna take one off of the Ice Eternal
Yeah.
pitching
So
and then using Crown.
right. Yeah. So so it likely if Liam has 3 blue cards in hand, which I don't know if he does because I think I saw a red staunch in there. But if it was 3 blues, he could pay through the frostbites and swing with the hammer. That's probably the
Mhm.
dream at this point, but maybe Matthew's banking on the fact that he can't afford that, and he'll be taking 5 free damage here.
Yeah, those are. I don't know if that's a blue staunch or a red staunch. I'd be very suspect to adding red
The
staunch in
red
this
staunch,
matchup.
yeah.
I don't think it's red staunch. I think it's
Okay,
blue
yeah.
staunch. I'd be very surprised,
Mm.
shocked. I'd be
I'd
shocked,
be
honestly.
appalled. Yeah.
I'd be appalled, shocked and awed, but not awed like aw good, like aw shit. That's the awe I'm talking about
Oh
here.
shit. Yeah.
But like depressed aw shit here. So I got a lot of
Okay.
caveats with that statement. But my point
Mm-hmm.
is, I think it's blue, and so he's rocking 3 blues
So
here.
he could probably pay it off. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so he's just counting to see whether it's worth it for him to even go for it here. Now,
Yeah.
like he knows it's Aether Hail. Like he knows it's just Aether Hail. It's not Emeritus or anything like that. There's no Metacarpus nodes either on Iyslander side. It's just
Yeah.
Ironhide Gauntlet.
I think it was a blue Aether Hail as well.
There's a blue Aether
So
Hail,
for
yeah.
2. Yeah.
So yeah, it would come in for 2. It would give them a Frostbite. So it's technically 3 because of the Frostbite.
That's
It's just
fair.
the Frostbite doesn't trigger later, so you'd be up to 6 Frostbites if nothing else. Now
Mm-hmm.
he
A lot of
could
thought.
pass.
Yeah, a lot of thought being like a lot of considerations here being made. I think the problem also is that if he does end up pitching everything to prevent the frostbite damage, he opens himself up to a Strider's proc.
No,
Into
that's true.
Well, actually, Matthew probably has a chunk of damage here with the 2 damage hail, the 3 damage waning moon plus a single like 4 or 5 damage red from hand. That's lethal. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if Liam would rather just take the frostbites here and make sure he survives, or pay everything off and hope that Matthew doesn't have enough damage for lethal.
Yeah, I think Liam passed here. That's what's happening. So it's really up
Okay.
to the Iyslander to
Right.
either grab some arcane damage or set up or something like
Mm,
that.
yeah. And the good thing too is
I
that Liam can also pay to prevent arcane damage at this point of the game, right? You can still pay for the damage of frost hex. So
Yeah, if it's just a pass, then Liam literally just pitches
just
two
pitches 2
blues, gets rid
blues.
of this
Yeah.
arcane. It's like fine. Like that's like did you get to
Yeah.
arsenal your for crown? Like that's I think that's
Yeah.
fine. I think passing is correct here from Liam. There's really no point
Yeah, that's
to
true.
like
That's true. Yeah.
attempt
So instead of spending it all on Winter's Wail, you'd obviously pass here. Yeah. Now that I think about it, that does sound a little better.
So we do
I'm obviously not an
see
Oldhim player.
Striders coming out
Okay.
question mark.
Okay. I
Did he
mean,
strike Brothers in Arms pitch? Okay, so what has he got? He's got an Ice Vein.
so 5
Red Ice Vein.
damage, 5 damage in the field right now, plus the red ice vein. Is that right? It looks like a blue.
No, it's got to be a red. There's no way you do this with a blue.
I'm seeing blue, man. I don't know.
Surely
Let's
not.
assume it's blue because I'm pretty sure it is. That's gonna be 5 rune chance, 5 frostbites plus 3 damage on the hail.
Okay, but if it's he has Arcane Barrier 3.
Let's
Like
see.
that's my
I might
issue.
be misseeing this.
Like okay, so the key here is that if he had 2 chill triggers left,
Yeah.
right? That makes more sense because you're getting 2 cards out of his hand, and maybe he doesn't have the blue.
Yeah.
Like maybe,
But then he wouldn't
and then
have
at
the
least you're
frostbites.
forcing.
He wouldn't have the
Yeah,
5
but
damage from the frostbites.
exactly. So that's why it's kind of like it's not like he did it on your opponent's turn and they're gonna
Mm-hmm.
pop immediately, right? You're giving him a window to draw cards and defend.
Yeah.
And
Well, we're
so
seeing a
here's the
6th
blue ice vein
frostbite.
from yeah. So this is the blue ice vein from Arsenal,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
From the
So
previous turn
so
here.
2 damage for sure.
Right? Yes, it's the blue. Yeah, it's the blue
It's
one
got
from
to be a
Arsenal.
blue. Yeah.
Yeah. And it was fused with channel. The ice vein was fused with channel, and then channel was
Mhm.
pitched for
For
that.
the
So
ice. Yeah, and leaving enough resources for Moon too. So I think we're just kind of
you know,
calculating damage here. I mean, if we wanted to calculate quickly ourselves, there's 6 frostbites. That's 6 damage plus the 3 from Ice Vein. That's 9 plus the 2.
well, ice vein's gone. He pitched a blue staunch. There is no more ice
Oh, he
vein.
didn't add this onto the chain. Sorry. Okay, or to the stack. Okay.
Yeah,
He
that
already pitched.
resolved already.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so here's a blue pitch for
Okay.
the Aether Hail. So now he's got 1 floating
Yep. And then we're seeing a Waning Moon for 3 more. He fully
and another
pitches that.
blue.
So we're looking at 5 damage squeaking through at this point.
So he's at 2.
Yeah, wasn't enough. You're right.
So
So
okay.
it wasn't lethal.
Yes, if that was red ice vein, that would mean lethal.
It would have
That's
been
why
lethal.
that's why I assumed it was red ice vein because
Okay.
that would be lethal.
Yeah. I
But
wonder.
it was
Yeah.
blue ice vein.
I wonder if you use Striders for a turn that might have not been lethal. I think he had the room to maybe wait an extra turn. But
I
I
think
think
so
he
too.
might have committed pretty hard in the frostbites, and he wanted to make sure he got a payoff out of them. So maybe that was a bit
Yeah.
of the choice there. But you
Funnily enough,
lost
if
the
he was
win
running
condition, yeah.
yeah, funnily enough, if he was on Metacarpus node, he wins right there because he had two floating, so he
Because
could have
I don't even know if
Metacarpus.
Iyslander runs that.
Yeah, of course, Iyslander runs Metacarpus node.
Oh,
He's just not
into
he's just not running into Oldhim.
that makes sense. Okay, yeah, I
But
forgot the
if
arcane
he
barrier one is quite good. Yeah,
yeah
it's a strict upgrade
if
for the
he
glove, so to the null rune glove, so it makes sense.
yeah. But obviously Ironhide's very good for the armor and blocking big dominates and such.
Oh, this is nice. This is gonna be a really nice turn. We're seeing he's showing, I believe, that's a um, it could be a
Rouse.
red footsteps.
Yeah, it doesn't even matter if it's red or blue. It'll proc the
Oh,
rouse
you're right. It's
regardless.
15 damage.
But
Yeah, so maybe we'll assume it's a blue at this
13
point.
or it's 13 or 15 total.
Yeah.
One or the other. Now, if it's a blue, so
Oh
you're
yeah,
sitting on
13.
4. You don't have strut. How does Iyslander win this game? I guess you just sit there and try to set up on a.
This is rough. I
There's the
think he might
Crown
be
of Providence
regretting
coming out.
using the Stormstriders there because he lost all the Wounded Bulls, all of the Finals Fighting Spirits. I want to say all the red Ice Veins. I think we saw at least two. I'm not sure if the third one came out, but
Yeah.
that's even the third one at this point wouldn't be enough because of Crown of Seeds, right? You can block 4, take 1, and you're still okay.
Yep.
And now Oldham's gonna just play super passive. Like there's no reason to commit or to overcommit. This might literally just be rouse like into pass, or I don't even know if you play E-Strike. You don't play E-Strike here. Although Matthew doesn't have an arsenal, so
Why not?
because
Why?
Matthew doesn't have an arsenal, I think if Matthew had an arsenal, you wouldn't do it because you
No,
can just die.
I would just be like, why wouldn't you play E-Strike here?
Yeah,
Like
sorry,
there's no striders.
there's no yeah, and there's no arsenal. I meant sorry. If there was an arsenal, you wouldn't play it.
Yeah. No,
But
you
at
would
this
not. You
point,
would definitely
there's
not play it.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But there's no chance of him popping any kind of damage here.
Yeah, just E-Strike, draw a card, insulating yourself with the effective 4 AB
Yeah,
with the crown,
yeah,
right? Because then you need red. You need a red spell to get over. You need a red 5 to get over,
yeah. You do.
essentially.
So Ice Vein pretty much is the only thing.
You need red Ice Vein or
Oof, yeah.
like physical attacks, right? Like there's E-Strikes and stuff that
Yeah, I
you can
guess this.
maybe get over.
Well, Scar can't really get off anymore because you got to be at 1 health for that to give go again.
Mm, yep.
Hmm.
Would you see that E-Strike draw a card?
Yeah. There is potentially you can get off another Frost Hex if you're able to get it off in time, and then play another Ice Eternal.
Yeah,
That's
if he has
potential.
space, Icelander's at 6. Like
Yeah.
I feel like that's like it costs a full card
Hmm.
to get the Frostex out.
Yeah. Yeah. But you can maybe take advantage of Oldhim having to play super passive. I would just Arsenal anything, even if it's a bluff. Just put something in there, and don't let them spend their whole hand like he did here.
Yeah, but like Oldham's not afraid anymore because there's nothing that's blue that's getting through AB3. No blue card gets through AB3.
Yeah. But I mean, at this point, if there was an Arsenal and he plays E-Strike, bottoms a card, then he can die to like anything, right?
Yeah, that's true.
But as long as he keeps 1 card at this point, he's safe. 1 card in hand is enough to get over anything that Iyslander can
yeah,
give him.
it looks like Matthew Folks has drawn the Hard to Find Out again,
Yeah.
so that's not going to be blocking anytime soon.
It's a bit of a rough draw at this point. Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like what you're trying to do is maybe take 2, block with a 3. Oh,
Oh,
Placidius Chill blocks for 2.
Yeah, Insidious Chill for 2. That's right. Yeah. Yeah, a little late to play that card now. There's no more fusing likely in the deck, so it's not really going to do anything.
Well, at least he's at 1, so Hard to Find Out is online, I guess.
That's so true. Oh, he's at 3. He took.
I lied.
He just
blocked.
took. He took 3. Yeah, he took 3.
Yeah, he took 3
It
blocks
was a
for 3. That's
5
true.
E-Strike. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought for some reason I thought he didn't block. I'm getting a little tired here.
Yeah, it's a
Um,
long game. It's a long game. Polar
Polar
Blast from
Blast.
hand. So at this point, ooh,
What are you dominating here? Scar first?
Scar, Scar first.
Oh, I
Oh,
guess
just
you're
to be
waiting
able
for
to
2.
Waning Moon. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, yeah.
Ooh, that feels
Yeah, Oldhim
real
didn't pay,
bad,
right?
but
He's like, "What do you got, man?" Yeah,
no.
yeah.
No, also Oldhim has Tunic if he needs the armor for the Dominate for some reason. He's at 2 though, so I don't
Yeah.
really. But it looks like it's going to be pitched just a blue
Yeah.
Arsenal card. I
I
do not know what the other Arsenal card is for Iyslander though.
I'm very impressed that Oldhim came back. It really looked one-sided for a while, in my humble opinion. But I do
Well,
think
it's
that the
not over
preemptive,
yet. Yeah.
yeah, the preemptive Striders might have been what kind of sealed the deal.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, if yeah, I guess with Oldhim on 3 cards, if he has two less pitch, he loses, right?
Hmm.
Essentially, because he was 2 off lethal. However, that would require him to have 2 reds and a blue. So,
I think single red, two blue, right? Is that right? Because he had three
sorry,
blues.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, sorry, that's what I meant.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
He needs 1 red and 2 blues. Now, maybe that was just the best bait of all
It
time here.
was.
Maybe that was just like the
Yeah.
best bait.
Hail Mary. Ugh.
Well, yeah, you're just sitting on 3 cards and you're like, yeah, maybe I have a red, maybe I don't.
Yep.
But I I I don't know if you risk the game off of that. You
Right.
had other options,
Because
right?
you
I
are
don't know.
firmly in the lead. I don't know if you're really worried about rushing it.
Mm,
You can just kind of passively, chip here and there. Oldhim can't block everything.
exactly. So I'm gonna block with 2 cold snaps here on a Winter's
Hmm.
Whale.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Interestingly
looks like
enough, a
Oldham might have
single
something
red
here.
pummel does close out the game on the
Does
Winter's
he
Whale, right? So, I
does he
don't.
have the pummel?
It could be an Arsenal. I don't know. No. Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
decided not to.
It wasn't in hand.
Hmm.
He decided not to. You think he has one in Arsenal? Oh, he drew it there now, so he has the
He
pummel.
has one now.
Yep. This is
So
so
probably
tense.
three.
I did not expect it to be this close, honestly. So I'm actually pretty happy we got to this point. It makes it interesting to watch. That's for sure.
There's the second
Okay.
Frost
So
Sex.
this is kind of
I
what I
hope it's not too
assumed
late
would
here.
happen. Yeah, it might be too late, but you probably have to rely on this getting, killing with frostbite at this point.
Yeah, this man is just like I'm just
So
gonna threaten pummel.
he's got the pummel online here. I don't know. Matthew
Can't
played
really.
2 sinks, right? There's probably one left in the deck.
Yeah, yeah. There's probably one left.
So I didn't. He has Brother in Arms at least, but it's not an instant or a D
Y-
react.
Yeah, you'd have to pay into it. So it's essentially you're still using 2 cards.
Yeah, exactly.
Um,
Yeah. Now I don't know if Matt is gonna respect the pummel. I don't know if you can afford to do that, but you gotta
no.
expect that it's coming up. Because he did see one obviously off of the Endless Winter, so he knows there are 2 left in the deck
Yeah,
likely.
yeah. As you know, in this position, it's a matter of like I think Oldham plays like that regardless of what your 4 card hand is. Like
Hmm.
if you have Rouse, you have Rouse, but
Hmm.
like pitching 2 blues to send
Right. So there's no
10.
yeah, there's no real tell here. He's gonna do this
Yeah.
regardless, so you can't really assume pummel.
Well, okay,
But
let's think about that for a sec. If you have 2 blues, you pitch to send 8 his way or something like that. Then you have a blue, you'll have crown, you get 5 pitch.
hmm
Assuming you crown into a blue.
hmm
So you're at 7 life
hmm
effectively, right? Because you could well, you're at 6 life because you can't take the last one, right? But um
Oh,
I
if we
I
pause here
guess
for a
that's
sec, this is the third Ice Eternal that he's using now.
he is blocking with that, yeah.
He blocked with one earlier. He played one earlier, and
There's
this
the
is the
pummel.
third. That's got to be game, eh?
I don't know what he's got a full card in hand. He's got one floating for Crown of
Oh,
Seeds. He's got essentially 6
what's
pitch.
going on? Okay, okay. I'm very
He's got to
intrigued.
have a
There's
he's got to have a blue ice card.
oh, that's well not
There it
ice,
is.
but it is Emeritus. 4 damage. Now Oldham's got to have. Well, okay. This is going to be 7 damage. Oldham has to have at. No, that's not enough. Oldham needs. Tunic is up. Okay,
Well,
Tunic's up.
you
Tunic,
just crown here. You have one
you can
floating.
crown
It doesn't.
exactly. Yeah, that's true. Even without Tunic, you can crown. Yes, that's true. Yeah,
Yeah, you still have the one floating because pummel only costs 2, right? So
it's a good point. You can crown.
he's gonna present crown on the stack and a waiting mood in
And
response. I
waiting moon.
imagine
Okay.
for 3.
Okay. So
There's the
let's.
blue blocks the 3.
Yeah.
Aren't you doomed? Like what does it matter what he draws or doesn't draw off Crown of Seas when it
Well, he
resolves?
can. Well, no, he can draw.
Pummel kills him. Like there's no more damage on board kind of thing. Yeah, that's I was about to say like does it really matter what he has?
Okay, so the Emeritus. Okay, I guess we can pause here. 'Cause the game's over. Okay, so At
Yeah.
this point, he paid through the Waning Moon, right?
Yeah.
But he had to deal with the Emeritus still. The Emeritus was still on the stack, right? For 4 damage.
Yeah. So essentially, he paid 3 for Winter's Whale.
Mm-hmm.
He paid 2 for Pummel. He had 1 floating.
Yeah.
He used that 1 floating to Crown of Seeds,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
right? To grab that other card.
And then Waning Moon
And
came out.
Waning Moon came out. He pitched a blue to prevent Waning Moon,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yep.
And then he drew another blue to prevent Emeritus Scolding.
Okay, so, but if he had drawn a red there, he would have lost.
Are there
Essentially.
any reds in his deck other than Pummel left? But yeah, I guess so.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I was confused because we were talking about like doesn't matter like what he draws, it's still over. But as long as it's a blue card, it's true. He survives off a blue for sure. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, he would have literally needed to draw red to,
Yeah.
to lose there. But
Okay. Yeah.
I
Nice.
think a
Wow.
lot of his deck is just blue at
It's
this
got.
point
It's got
because
to
you
be
just
your
push
second
the blue.
cycle at this point. Like.
Yeah, you got to either hit Iyslander with your reds or discard them to Insidious Chill. So it's just
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
there's really not a lot of reds left in the deck.
It's funny how filtering the reds like made a lot of sense there. Just to get the blues late
Yeah,
game.
yeah. I gotta think that there was that. I think that E-Strike turn was not E-Strike, Scar for a Scar,
Mhm.
taking 4 for that. That hurts. That's a pretty big
Yeah.
misplay there.
That's a good point.
I think
Yeah.
I think the real kind of question mark is, did you really need to Ice Eternal for 5 there?
Mm.
And did you really need to Storm Striders the turn after off 1 Frost Hex? Like I feel like it was the 1-2 punch of
It was
that doesn't make any
a
sense.
bit of a gamble. I think the risk reward might not have been there.
Yeah, now I don't think it's strictly like a bad play,
Right. Not strictly.
but
Well, in this case, it was wrong, but I think there are ways
yeah,
it could have paid off.
my main issue is that he pitched a Frost Hex, which he
Mm,
very easily had
that's a good
space to
point.
play because
Yeah. Yeah.
Oldhim played an E-Pot.
Mm-hmm.
That second Frost Hex would have been real good with that Ice Eternal on their
Yep.
turn, kind of
Yeah.
thing. And the issue with playing Ice Eternal is you have no more disruption in the form
Mm-hmm.
of your Insidious Chill. So
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
you essentially got rid of your, hey, give me 4 pitch, right?
Yeah.
And you kind of just Ice Eternaled and hoped they didn't have. I feel like it really was Icelander's game to lose. Like I feel
Mm-hmm.
like
Mm-hmm.
if you made multiple misplays and maybe misjudge some things like that, I don't think Oldhim really could have done much on their end to win.
Mm-hmm.
As far as this matchup goes, like you did what you did. Like it wasn't particularly. Oldhim played well. Don't get me wrong, Liam played well.
Yeah.
However, I think this was Oldhim was severely on the back foot here, and I think if
Yeah.
Matthew maybe
Like
just took his time and just played out the second
Matt
played out
did.
the second prospects.
Yeah, and to Matt's credit, he did really well to come back in this game. It was what was it, 18 to 30 something health at some point. 18
Yeah,
to
I think
30.
the health
Yeah.
totals tell a bit of a different story in this kind of matchup because
Okay.
Striders is a full turn, right?
Yeah, and
Um,
you did sacrifice a bit of health to play out the Insidiouses, so like there was some setup involved that you do kind of let yourself fall on the back foot a little bit just due to that. So you're right. It didn't necessarily mean that Iyslander was that far behind, but Oldhim might have been able to get some good, tempo, given that
mhm.
Icelander's health level was quite a lot lower than his. So Matthew found the right
Yeah,
window to use his Insidious, earlier on, to just to kind of get back that tempo that he lost earlier. Which I guess is just
yeah,
how Iyslander plays. So it might, it might just be a given.
yeah. I just striding out Blue Ice Fane just seems.
Hmm.
I feel like you just play it tight and you get out the second Frost
Yeah.
Hex and wait for a moment where you can like guarantee it rather than just like hoping they don't have blues.
Yeah.
Um,
But
but
again,
like you might have
what do
wanted
we
to just
know?
close out
We're
the game
not we're
faster.
not 8-0 at Battle Hardened. So
We are not.
yeah.
Anyways, hopefully everyone kind of appreciated that kind of game. I know it was a long one, but this
What
is
else
kind of
would
the
you
full ins
expect?
and outs.
Yeah.
And what else we do? Ice on ice
It was
action
a good
here.
game
So
either way. It's a roller coaster.
if you like this kind of content, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. And with that, from wherever you're watching in the world, have a good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. Bye for now.